Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Allie Peters here, Director of Marketing over at the Core Group, coming at you from my kitchen. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. We're so excited to have Carolyn Burgess-Levinsky on the line here with Lincoln MoneyGuard's Sales Vice President. She's just one of my favorites, so I have a bias, but she's also really good at what she does. And without further ado, I'll let you take over, Carolyn. Oh, quick mention too, at the end, she will take questions. So if you write them into your question box, I will make sure that we address all the questions at the end. And take it away.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I hope everybody is either in a state that's starting to reopen and being cautious, but I hope your families are well and that you've taken a pause or had some great awakening during this kind of crazy time, very crazy, I would say. It's a timely conversation for us this morning. Technically, I guess now it is afternoon for me. With the E-Suite that we have, MoneyGuard, the brokerage team, last year, about January, around the time that I started in 2019, we really started digging in and expanding the resources that we have available in the brokerage market. We've got a full team of wholesalers now. We've got one-on-one relationships with our internals. And the E side of the business is really one of the missing components for the 21st century. And we have now rolled out the E-Suite, the electronic application, which I'm going to walk you through. We have enhanced on every single level. So whether it's the submission to commission, we have made the claims paying site and the Silver Brick Road site. We've branded it and we have made it Lincoln. So I'm going to walk through kind of on a high level, not get too far in the weeds with the e-app. I do have Erica McCallop on the phone, and she is the Director of Operations for the new business side to answer any questions that you may have relative to the e-app process if I'm not able to answer them. And from there, we're going to jump into our new Compass. Now, the business submission process is absolutely exciting to have, but when I think about the Compass and what we've been able to put into one document to share with you guys to really give you the tools and resources to get in front of your clients, I'm looking forward to going over that as well. So call your clients. That's where I'm going to start with this. And I know that the first couple weeks, I've started scheduling 15 to 30 minutes in with each call that I have, whether it's with an advisor or an account, just to check in on a personal level. We are all going through struggles, and I will warn you, I may have kids that show up in the background asking for food as I shush them away. But we all have faced in the last 8 weeks a pace and a change in life where there's fear, there's grief, there's hesitation, we still need to eat and put food on the family, or food, excuse me, that's a very George Bush statement. We still need to put food on the table, and we're worried about jobs. So when I've spoken with advisors, I've heard a lot of them say, I'm really hesitant to call and ask for a single premium or a client to come up with $10,000 a year for a long-term care plan. And I think right now, with the fear that many Americans are feeling or the worry, the conversation is around LTC planning as part of a comprehensive wealth plan. And if you've been on one of my calls before, that's always my messaging. It's not about insurance. But I will tell you, clients, that fear factor, worried about death, worried about somebody having to take care of them, long-term care can be that bridge that builds the relationship and really shores up. If they've lost 30% in the market, it's happened. Maybe they want to create that tax-efficient bucket of money that's going to allow them to fill that gap temporarily. So I'll go through that when we go through the Compass on what to say, how to do it. We're going to start with the e-app because it's more technical. It is just like any other e-app application that you've used from the iPipeline platform. Now, I know Core Group has iPipeline through their website. If you have an lfg.com account, you can access the e-application there as well. But from point of sale, I'm going to coach you here on how you can make your conversations fluid with clients. So I would say start with the clients that you've already had a conversation in the past about long-term care planning. Perhaps you've written a life insurance policy on them. It's a great time to call and say, how are you? How are things going? And just check in with them. Second is, I'm really taking this time to go through the files of each one of my clients and make sure that all of their beneficiaries are up to date on their IRAs, their life insurance contracts, doing something to make sure if something happens, that you have protected their family and make sure that everything goes where it's supposed to. So that's a way to reach out and just connect, really be thoughtful, and then bring up, I was going through your file and I noticed that we have not put a plan in place for long-term care. I've been working with a lot of my clients virtually. I now have, Zoom or whatever you might be meeting that we can go through this and you can see exactly what I'm looking at. We can review your options. And once you get through that process, you all are skilled. You can now say, are you ready to move forward? Underwriting, there's no labs. It's a streamlined process. We can even do the application without having to send a piece of paper by mail or bring it to you. So really taking that fear out of, I can't meet with you because I don't want to sign paperwork because I don't want to hold your pen, and automating it from point of sale to scheduling the client interview all the way down to policy issue and delivery. All of the policies right now, we have suspended printing policies, so all policies are e-delivery. Given the times, I think it's very fitting. We haven't had any pushback, but just know currently we aren't printing policies and sending them out. All right, so our electronic application overview, again, it's on iPipeline. It's on the LFG website. It does streamline everything. We have cut back turnaround because, and let me give you the high level on that. Our turnaround time, I want to say we've pulled off, 3, 4, 5 days. As you know, we are simplified underwriting anyways, where it's a phone interview and then it's an accept or decline. You're either approved or declined. We don't go after medical records until somebody challenges the decision. We are still writing ages 70 and up if your client is standard or preferred. If they are under the standard rating, then we're going to postpone, and not a decline, we're going to postpone them indefinitely until things shake out. But I know a lot of my colleagues, competitors have pulled out of the 70 and above market. We are, or are requiring a single premium. We are still offering flex pay and coverage to people over 70. So taking time off the turnaround time, your submission to commission, once we get the application in, we don't have to scan everything. You don't have to scan everything. We don't have to code everything. By using the application, it interfaces with Lincoln MoneyGuard and is automatically put into our system. So that process is off the table, shaving a few days there. Signatures are collected electronically through DocuSign. Many of you I know have used DocuSign. It just makes it seamless where, and I'm going to show you a few screens of kind of what the process looks like, but it goes to your client, they put in their DocuSign signature, it comes back to you, you put in your information, and then it goes directly into Lincoln, assigned to a case manager, and then to underwriting. So really making it easy for you, hopefully generating some additional revenue to keep things afloat. Now, part two, I'm going to say part two, which is the health portion. So the LTC supplement in part two of our application is the health interview portion. We do not have the health questions on the e-application. So if you want to include, there are some advisors and agents that want to ask those questions. If you do take the part two, check it by paper, you can actually include that and upload it into the e-app, and it's submitted with the e-application and included with the DocuSign signature, so it would be covered by that. Otherwise, they're going to do a more lengthy interview with LTCG. Many of the, I'd say a large portion of our applications that come in go with the longer interview. But for those of you that do like to ask those questions, just know you need to include it with the illustration. So right now we're going to talk about the producer website. If you go to LFG and you have an appointment with us, you can get logged in or you can register. If you go under the My Business tab, it's going to walk you to online life application. Now, I personally have tested this one out a few times, and I will say it when I went in, I was looking for the MoneyGuard application, but it's going to be under the online life application. You can click on the box here. It's going to take you into the iPipeline platform and what it looks like where I go. You can see your cases that you have submitted, or you can start a new case. Again, it looks like exactly what, as you know, I worked with One America. One America's platform looks very similar. So you click start a new case. It is going to ask you for all the client's information. Now, if you have a a login, or if you have a registration with LFG, you can actually start the application. And so from a sales perspective, and how I like to use, as a producer, how I like to use eApps is I like to put in all of the information for the client before I ever sit down with them. So I may not have what benefit design that they're planning on going with, but if I have all of their socials, beneficiary information from other policies, dates of birth, address, I like to pre-populate the application and have it saved. So when they say, yes, let's go ahead and move forward, all I do is open it up, confirm what I've put into it. If I'm doing the medical, I'll ask the medical questions, double check on the beneficiaries. It just shaves about 10 to 15 minutes off. That information will stay saved in the iPipeline for 6 months. So when prepping, if you're really wanting to make it not a 2-hour process, to make it, a 30-minute process, I really encourage clients or advisors to get in and do a little bit of legwork so it doesn't seem as painful. All right, key system features. The best part about this is that our NIGO, which is not in good order, is really shaved down to 0 because you have to validate every single page. So when you go in, you put the insured information, it goes into what the policy looks like, beneficiaries. What you need to make sure that you put in are the yellow boxes. So if it's yellow, it needs to be completed. I always encourage double checking the Social Security number and the phone numbers and making sure that you have the correct email addresses entered for both you and for the client, because that once it's submitted, all of that documentation is going to go back and forth through the emails that you've included in the app. I'm going to minimize this. Give me 1 second. All right, so the required questions I mentioned, saving the data, you can save it. If you are, say, into the premium and billing and you don't know the answer to something or you've got to step away, if it times out for some reason, when you go back in, you may have validated all of the screens, say the top 4, may have validated them already. When you go in, it's going to show that they aren't validated. Your information isn't lost, so don't panic. You would be able to get back in and not have to re-enter it, but it won't show the green check marks we're about to look at in a second. All right, so on the side here, you notice the green check marks, insured, policy information. If there's information missing, it's going to have a question mark next to it. Once you're ready to submit the application to go over to the client for the DocuSign signature, every one of these is going to be checked with a green check mark. That's the only way you can move forward. And so back to the NIGO and the turnaround and shaving, mistakes and shaving time, it really is a user-friendly system that is going to reduce the amount of time back and forth with the case manager if something was missed on the application. Agent validation, if you are not currently appointed with MoneyGuard or maybe your LTC training is out for your state, there will be an agent validation error that says we're unable to locate your appointment. Perhaps you worked with another BGA in the past and have moved over to CORE. We just want to make sure that's all in line. You can still proceed with the application. Every state varies. So I live in Texas, and there's a 30-day window that if you didn't have your appointment paperwork in place and you submitted an application, that there's a grace period with Texas and you can backdate. There are some states like Oklahoma, you have to have your appointment in place before you can move forward. So if you get an agent validation fail, make sure you just pick up the phone and call and find out what you're missing. I think it'll save you a lot of time and heartache and keep you from having to resubmit another application. So when you go into case status, if you have a missing requirement or something is not in good order, it will flag. It'll tell you that it's incomplete, not in good order. If you find a mistake and you have already validated and submitted the application, or if you find a mistake, you send it over to the client, they say, you have my Social Security numbers mixed up. You can go in and unlock the application and correct it and resend it. So there are ways to back out of it. If you've got an issue or a problem, feel free to pick up the phone and call Adam Bridgeforth, who's my internal partner, or myself, and we can help you out. I know the case managers at CORE are fantastic and familiar as well, but just reach out. There are some bugs, but I love it. I think it's a great way for you to just make your clients comfortable, make your time productive, and still have a long-term care planning discussion. So when you're all in good order, and you're ready to validate and lock, you'll have all the green check marks. Then if you see at the bottom of the screen, unlock application data, that is where you would go in to correct something. Just remember, you're going to have to resend it to the client. So if they did validate and that's when it was found, you'll have to go through the process again. When you get the electronic options, the e-application, the signature process, it's going to give you a notification that the emails have been sent. The client's code is going to be the last 4 digits of their social security number. So I always like to tell the clients or pick up the phone and say, I just submitted it. Would you go into your email while I'm on the phone and make sure that you received the email? I have had cases in the last few years, not even just with MoneyGuard, but with my prior employer, where it would go to their spam and they would search and search and search. So call them, let them know, double check that they received it. If they can go ahead while you're on the phone, review it, put in the last 4 of their social security, and that's why I said check their social security numbers and make sure they're accurate. That's how they're going to go through the e-signature process. All right, so consent, the signer will receive an email with a link. It's going to come from Lincoln MoneyGuard. They go through, they do their e-signature or their DocuSign signature. DocuSign actually, there's an app for DocuSign as well. So I don't believe that this works very well on a phone or an iPad. And some clients have only iPads. Encourage your clients to do the DocuSign and review the application on a desktop. All right, submission received. So once you've submitted the application, a new email submission is going to be generated and sent to you. As of Monday, your case manager will also get a copy of the case being submitted. So we've done some enhancements that will launch Monday. So what I'm showing you right now, there'll be a little bit of a different view or things that I'm not showing you in this presentation, but they are all very user-friendly. We had a call earlier this week going over them. It's just the feedback that we had from the field. We've implemented. If there's anything that you would like to see or you think it would make it much more user-friendly or it's missing, we're still in our infancy with this. I think we rolled out in February. Give me a shout. Send me an email. Let me know, and I will put it on the to look into list or the ask list. We really want to make this a user-friendly tool for you. So again, we went over the overview, faster way to satisfy not in good order, fewer in-person client touch points, no paperwork. You can download the PDF of the application. You can save it. We don't require a signature on the illustration until delivery if you use the e-application. So you don't have to worry about shipping the illustration or emailing the illustration to your client for the signature. You can just upload it without the signature, and upon delivery, we'll get that signature. All right, so registered, make sure that you have all of your appointment stuff in process. You do need your LTC training, state required training to write MoneyGuard. And then we have training tools that are now available. I'm going to go over where they are and what they are as we go into the Compass. This is, again, high level. I wanted you to know that the tools and resources are out there. Now I'm going to shift into how you can market to your clientele, reach out to your clientele virtually. I really take some of our social media tools and take your presence in this market, either through LinkedIn, Twitter, if you're on Facebook, to the next level using our resources, as well as we've got great sales concepts. So with that, if you've got any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. We'll circle back, and Erica and I will answer them at the end. And I'm going to switch screens real quick and go into our Compass. All right, so as of Friday, this past Friday, our Compass was released. I love this piece. It's a microsite of our microsite, and it really is a one-page, one-stop shop for anything MoneyGuard that you need as an advisor or as an account representative to dig in, whether it's sales strategies, looking at opportunities. I will send this to Allie as soon as we are done for her to send out to you. But we have everything in terms of what should you be looking at in your book of business, what are your annual opportunities, your life stage events, review opportunities. So as we're going through this, if one of these pops up in your head, write down the name of that client so we can visit about it later on. But the annual opportunities, birthdays, promotions, tax returns for those of you that are CPAs as well, or collect your client's tax returns as part of their documentation. Life stage events, does somebody have a loved one who's receiving care and sees the cost and the burden of taking care of them? Make sure you're just taking the time to ask the 2 questions that I repeat over and over. What's your plan if you had an extended healthcare event, and how are you going to fund it? And that's where you're quiet and let them give you all of the objections or the I'm going to self-fund, and just listen. Just listen, go back, look for the sales strategies that's going to fit their objections. Here on the Compass, we have proven care planning strategies. We've got everything from multi-generational, the 50-10 hedge strategies. We will be doing a series of webinars on each one of these. I'm not going to go into them today, but if you're a beginner, or if you are a beginner in long-term care planning, or if you're a very seasoned long-term care expert, there's some great ways to use MoneyGuard as part of an overall comprehensive wealth plan, part of an estate plan, part of a gifting strategy. So all of those are going to be inside the Compass, which is a 1-pager. So I'm just going to click to show you all of the examples tied to this is the gifting strategy. It's going to show you an example of either the illustration that goes with the gifting strategy, or it's going to give you a sales concept. So you click on the link, it's going to take you to the attachments, or just close this real quick. It's going to go either to an illustration that is tied to the concept or the concept itself. From there, you're going to go into chart your care planning discussion. I love, this is my favorite piece, the asset identifier. So when you're calling, and I mentioned at the beginning of this, when you're calling your clients and checking in with them, saying, I know we visited about long-term care planning. It's the one thing that's missing. Let's get your beneficiaries up to date. If your client is a little bit resistant, you might say, the asset identifier is something that I've started to do with every single client. I really want to make sure, as your fiduciary, your agent, your advisor, that I have a well-documented plan that spells out how we're going to fund an extended healthcare event if something were to happen. The asset identifier is personalized to wherever their location is. You would be able to go in and put the average cost of care in their area listed here, pre-populated. Your name and information, contact information goes up here. Client's information in this box here. And then it's the Columbo approach, as I like to call it. It is the way that you can say, I just want to make sure that if something happens and we don't have, a long-term care policy or a long-term care bucket of money carved out, I know what to sell first, or I know what to communicate to your children that you wanted to use as your first line of defense in a long-term care situation. So it does a few things. It uncovers additional assets that you may not have under management, or that policies that are out there that you did not write. So maybe there's some 1035 exchange opportunities. So it's going to identify additional resources that might not be, you weren't the writing agent or advisor. And I think that it really kind of puts that nail in there, that this is important enough that I'm asking you to tell me if you choose to self-fund, that's absolutely okay. I just want to know what resources that you're going to use to pay for it, so it helps the situation be more organized. It's a document that I would revisit at least once a year. Things change in people's lives. Who would have thought on January 1st, 2020, that we would all be sitting in our houses for 8 weeks without hair color or nails, or whatever it might be? So just really make it part of your overall process. Again, that's going to be in the Compass. You can download it. All of these, once you link to the PDF, you're able to save them to your computer. Again, it's a touch point for you. The client profiles flyer. This is a way to sit down and say, okay, which clients should I be targeting? I get asked so often, what's the sweet spot for long-term care planning? Well, if you ask Dave Ramsey, 10 years ago, I think it was 65. Now he's down to 60. Reality is we have carriers in this industry that have stopped writing at 65 now. We are still writing up to age 80, but we have no idea what the other side of this is going to look like. So if you have clients that are, between the ages of 60 and 65 and they keep putting it off, it is a time to go back and revisit with them and say, listen, traditional long-term care, many of the carriers have stopped writing over the age of 65. We don't know what this is going to look like. Let's get the underwriting started. Everything is virtual right now, turnkey. So really that is a target space. but our average age in the industry for people buying long-term care is 58, which is down significantly from when I started. So start the conversation early. I like to say start it at 40, and the reason for 40 is your clients have parents. Your 40-year-old clients have parents who maybe haven't planned for long-term care or they're starting to worry about. So it's a referral for you into multi-generational wealth. When you go into the opportunities flyer, we've got pre-retirement, we've got the profiles that you want to sit down and say, this is a fit for, Tim and Sue. This is a fit for Jack or Kate. Talk about long-term care planning, and if you start at 40 and they feel like they're too young or they've got other obligations with kids and college, that kind of thing, you've put the seed in place that it's going to be part of their overall comprehensive wealth plan. It just might not be for 10 years, but you're doing your due diligence by bringing it up. So each one of these you're going to have access to. And I want to, in the interest of time, I just want to make sure that I'm staying in sync so that you all can ask questions. Again, the Compass will link you to any of the financial professional toolkits. We have just updated what used to be Silverbrick Road is now called planmyltc.com. There is a link directly to it. That is going to be where your clients, once they buy a policy, they get a membership from day one that they can go in and really manage a claim situation, or even if they have a loved one that is starting to need care and they need resources, it's going to help them look for those resources. It's got tutorials, assessments, educational tools on how to take care of an Alzheimer's patient. It's really just, again, a one-stop shopping place to help navigate the emotional turmoil when you've got a loved one who needs care. Last, I am going to click on Resource Library. We were calling this the Launchpad. I am still calling it the Launchpad. It is our microsite of all of our marketing resources that we have available. So if you go up here to the right-hand corner, it's going to show you MoneyGuard 2 for California, MoneyGuard 2 for New York, and then MoneyGuard 3 for the rest of the states. We have things broken out by sales tools, campaigns, all of our underwriting tools. So we've got our pre-qualification and process tools. We've got a section on claims. We have videos. If you click on videos, we have videos that you can send to your clients to prepare them for every single stage of the underwriting process. So if it's the personal interview, you can send them the personal interview. It's a couple minutes, 3-4 minutes, educating them on what they're going to expect and need to prepare for their interview. It talks about the underwriting process. And then we have some generic videos. So we've got one over the product, and then there is an additional one here that is long-term care planning is not just a nursing home, which conceptually, when you ask clients, what do you think about long-term care? They think nursing home or too expensive. So it's just a great way for you to virtually educate. You can download those, put them into an email and say, hey, this is going to help you for your upcoming interview, or take a look at this. Let's go through a virtual experience and, really talk about what your plan is going to be. So there's presentations that you can use, and there's advisor facing and then client presentations. So you can get educated a little bit more if you'd like. And then if you have target markets where maybe you're doing an online client seminar, or you want me to do an online client seminar for you, we would pull this up and do it just like a seminar sitting in a restaurant or in your office to educate clients. So we have everything that you need ready to be downloaded, ready to get you up and running. If you would like, I know Allie put it in the chat, I have a link to my calendar that you can schedule time with me and say, hey, this is something I want to focus on. I'd really love to use you as a resource to reach out to my clients or educate them, or I've got an appointment, but I'm not comfortable with the MoneyGuard 3 product. I am an extension of CORE and their relationship managers. So it's a team of experts that you already work with. I'm just here to be their expert in MoneyGuard, your expert in MoneyGuard. So last, I'm going to talk about the digital resources, and it'll take me probably about 5, 6, 7 minutes. We have about 15 minutes. So I do really want you guys to ask me questions, anything that is relative to MoneyGuard, long-term care. And I usually say at the beginning of my presentation, we don't get off the phone until I get a question. But to think about it while I go through this, and if you're thinking about it, I'd say the other people on the call probably are as well. So we're going to go to the digital campaigns. We have just launched social media in a box. And actually, Allie, has been fantastic. She grabbed a hold of it when we went over it at the beginning of April, and she's been posting on LinkedIn. We have generic and we have specific to LinkedIn MoneyGuard. So the generic website, the generic content, and I did get distracted because I saw my son just emerging from upstairs. The long-term care social media campaign has 16 different images that are formatted. Hey, baby. That are formatted for Twitter, for LinkedIn, for Facebook. JPEGs and PNG, I believe, are the format. Depends on which platform. I only use LinkedIn for this content, but none of the information is MoneyGuard specific. It is all long-term care planning specific. Right now, people are looking at their phones and their technology and the different platforms more than ever for entertainment, for education. It's a great time for you to let your clients know that you offer long-term care as part of the planning process. So if you've been an annuity writer most of your life and you want to branch out, it's a great time for you to start dripping on your clients. Once upon a time, it was my second job in this industry. Direct marketing was really what I was focused on in developing client relationships. It takes 3 to 6 touches with a warm prospect to get them to open up to a new concept. It takes 7 or 8 with a cold prospect. So, every little touch, whether it be a mailer that you send out, whether it be something you put on LinkedIn, whether it's a flyer that you stuff in the tax return that you're sending to them, it doesn't have to be product specific. It's conceptually specific. So here's the ways that you can download them. If you are interested in using it, you can download the JPEGs here, or you can reach out to Adam or myself and we can send them over to you. But it's just, again, one more touch, one more way to expand your business. Let them know that you have options out there that are maybe not just traditional long-term care, that you do offer the asset-based solutions. Beyond funding, we have our first quarter campaign. This is more MoneyGuard specific. We've got materials that are directed for you. And then we have the social circles, impacting plan, brand new care coordination. This is advisor facing. So if you have an agency or a firm that maybe you're recruiting other agents, if you're wanting to drip on them to get them to start producing business, or if you're a sales manager and you've got a group of advisors that really are focused on AUM and you're wanting to expand your insurance revenue, you could set this up to just be sent out to your advisors once a week or once every few weeks. I know that Allie does a really great job of keeping the content on the website for core up to date. Here's just more ammunition for you to make things turnkey and move it forward. So last from there, and I'm getting too many tabs open, so let me stop. All right, so the campaigns, easy. You'll see them coming from Adam and myself. Why Lincoln? Why MoneyGuard 3? We have, again, advisor and client-facing pieces. So if you want to set some time up with me to say, okay, what's the best way to use these tools, please feel free to go to my calendar. You can grab the link out of the chat, put some time on the calendar for us to visit. I'm not traveling like I usually travel, so I definitely have more time to spend with you all one-on-one. All right, so we are at 12:34. I know that was kind of high-level overview of our e-application, our e-tools, our marketing platform. I really just want to give you guys what you need right now in this very weird time. I will tell you some of the success stories that I've seen. I've seen a lot of I wouldn't say a lot. I would say I have seen quite a few very large tickets come in recently when it comes to clients. So there's a significant number of clients that have pulled money out of the market and they're sitting on cash. With the interest rate environment, it is a perfect time to look at safe money and what they've done, with their cash position. And can we take this and create a much bigger bucket of money for them that's going to be tax efficient? Fear, especially with clients that are 60, 65 and wanting to retire and wanting to make sure they're not running out of money, there will never be a better time for you to reach out to your clients and have this conversation. Again, be gentle, check in with them, don't rush into products. It is time for us right now to just reconnect on every level. And I'm not saying that from a wholesaler standpoint, I am saying that from a human standpoint. So get in front of them, connect. They're going to be happy to hear from you. Follow up. And that's the biggest thing, I think, with presenting long-term care. When the client says, yeah, I'm going to self-insure. Okay, absolutely, you can self-insure. Let's identify those assets. Keep the conversation moving forward. Start with a very loving approach. Think about it as your mom or dad, as you're having the conversation, and just say, we want to make sure that if anything were to happen, which is a huge fear for people, we have everything in order. There's no better time for us to get this done. We start with the underwriting process, we see what the offer is, and then we figure out how to fund it. The other thing that I'm seeing quite a bit of is 60-40 split. It is one of the concepts on the compass. I'm not going to go too far into it, but I'm seeing a lot of flex pay designed where maybe there's a 5-pay done on the wife and a 15-pay done on the husband. So clients are wanting to let the market recover a little bit. They don't want to pull out a lump sum. I just wanted to touch on that. Lincoln MoneyGuard, we offer flex pay up to age 70. You can still do a flex pay over 70. What that means is if you're 55, your policy needs to be paid off by age 70. So you would have 15 years to pay the policy. Our age ranges right now are 30 to 80 years old. So if somebody starts a policy at age 40, conceptually they will have 30 years to pay off the contract. So take a look at the flex pay options. I think clients are really hesitant to put maybe their just in case money all in one place. You can do a design where maybe you put 60% of the premium on the wife and then you do the 15 pay on the husband. So again, reach out to Adam and myself. We are here to support you. We're here to support CORE. I love the partnership. CORE was my #1 account last year. As you know, great to work with. And Allie, thank you. Let's go ahead and take questions.
Thank you so much. You're incredible.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. I like how you simplify it just down to one question, because I do think that it gets overwhelming with all of the things that you need to go over as an advisor with your client, and covering long-term care by just asking an open-ended question, I think is key. That said, on the question box, I don't have any questions coming through at the moment, but if anybody does have any questions, they can send them my way, or you can reach out to your relationship manager, or as Carolyn said, you can reach out directly to her. Her contact information is in that chat box, and that's where you can even just schedule a call. Whatever you're looking for, we're here to help, and we just appreciate you taking your time out of your day to spend some time with us. And Carolyn, thank you very much for being here. I don't know if you have anything else, but we just appreciate you.
No, I love you guys, and I thank everybody for dialing in. Feel free to reach out to answer any questions. I am not going to hold you on the phone hostage for 7 minutes. Time is precious, and I think my children are hungry. So thank you again for having us. We are here to support. If you are writing long-term care and maybe you haven't looked at MoneyGuard closely, or if you'd like a competitive analysis, every aspect of your business, from opening up the case to writing the case to getting it placed, we are here to help. So thank you so much.
All right. Have a great one. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, you too. I'll talk to you soon. All right.